Episode 2 New Beginnings Revised. I shuffled nervously into the main chamber. Citrine was already there, leaning against the railing, arms crossed, eyes sharp. She didn't just watch me, she measured me, like a predator circling prey. The light glinted off her gem at the center of her chest, and I swallowed hard. "You're new," she said, voice low but cutting, carrying a weight that made me straighten involuntarily. "Which means you don't know the rules. I'll lay them out. Listen carefully, because if I have to repeat myself, you'll regret it." She stepped forward just slightly, close enough that I felt the heat of her presence. My stomach tightened. Rule 1: respect the temple. Don't touch anything unless told. Equipment, artifacts, weapons, everything has a purpose. Break it, and you fix it. Or answer to me. I don't care how apologetic you are. Do you understand? I nodded quickly, glancing at Garnet, who gave me a subtle nod of encouragement. Pearl appeared behind me, eyebrow raised, tapping the edge of her staff, clearly approving Citrine's tone. Rule 2: safety comes first. If a creature shows up, you do not engage unless instructed. Panic, hesitate, and you will get yourself killed. Understand? Why, yes, I said, my voice trembling slightly. Citrine's eyes narrowed, tilting her head as if evaluating how easily I might break under pressure. Good. Rule 3: behavior around the gems. No wandering alone, no touching anyone's equipment. No crossing personal boundaries. Ignorance will not excuse you. If you're unsure, ask. Amethyst leaned against the wall, smirking. Citrine's sharp gaze cut right through her. The grin faltered, and she went quiet. Rule 4: communication. Confused? Need help? See something unusual? Speak up. Don't assume anyone reads your mind. Follow instructions. Improvising will get you hurt, or worse. I nodded again, trying to memorize everything. Rule 5: address me as Lieutenant Citrine at all times. Formal situations, instructions, emergencies. Lieutenant Citrine. Yes, Lieutenant Citrine, I said stiffly. She stepped closer, her shadow falling over me, just close enough that I had to swallow hard. Rule 6: do not wander the temple alone. Restricted sections are off limits unless I say otherwise. Blair? Yes, Lieutenant Citrine, I replied, my heart thudding. Rule 7, she said, leaning forward, letting her presence press into me without touching. This one's a promise. Break my rules and I promise you will regret it. Understood? Yes. Understood. Lieutenant Citrine, I managed, my throat dry. Her expression softened slightly, but only slightly. There was still a sharpness in her eyes, an edge in her tone that made me feel like even my thoughts were being weighed. Good. I'm not here to make your life miserable. These rules exist so you survive and so you don't make things harder for everyone else. Break them and you'll see why they matter. Garnet gave me a reassuring glance. Earl muttered something about discipline being overdue. Amethyst rolled her eyes but gave a small, reluctant thumbs up. I let out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. I'll remember, I said. See that you do, Citrine replied. She turned, letting her gaze linger on me a moment longer than necessary, a silent warning in her posture, then walked toward the inner chambers. I felt a shiver run down my spine, half respect, half intimidation. Garnet said quietly, she means it. I walked out of the temple's main chamber nervously. Citrine made me nervous. I didn't fully trust her. Onyx looked at me and said bluntly, looks like someone ran over your cat. I know Citrine is scary, but if it makes you feel any better, she was bluffing a little. I replied, I seriously doubt that. Onyx said, you'll feel more comfortable around her once you get to know her. She's not actually that scary. I said, Onyx, I seriously doubt I will ever feel comfortable around Sayal. Lieutenant Citrine. She looked at me like she wanted me dead, so, no, I'll never feel comfortable around her. Onyx said, sure you won't. Then she turned and walked away. I stepped outside on the porch and sat down watching the waves for a minute. I got up and decided to look around town. Couldn't go to Funland right now. It was under repair after what happened 3 days ago. Suddenly, Amethyst came up behind me and said, hey, Garion. I yelped, still tense from Citrine, and whipped around, almost swinging at her. I narrowed my eyes. What do you want? Geez, you don't have to bite my head off, man, Amethyst replied. I said, then don't sneak up on me. Amethyst snickered. Wow, Citrine got you shook, huh? I ignored her. The clouds above were bright, the sun warm. Maybe I'd just hang with Amethyst and look at clouds. I needed a break after the talk with Citrine. Then I saw a big carpenter bee emerge from Pearl's flowers. It buzzed around me. I yelped and ducked, backing off. It's not going to hurt you, it's just a bee, Amethyst yelled. Well, would you like it if the bee flew around you like that? I replied. Hell no, I wouldn't. She shouted. The bee hovered squarely in the path off the porch, staring at me as if daring me to shoo it away. We froze, locked in a silent standoff. I grabbed a shovel from the dirt near Pearl's unplanted flowers. I swung at the bee, trying to get it to leave. Didn't budge, just flew away briefly, then returned. I swung again. The bee charged me, buzzing in irritation before resuming its position. I pulled my pants back up a little and readied myself. Amethyst chanted, fight, fight, fight. The bee grew more agitated and flew back. My money's on the bee, just so you know, Amethyst added with a grin. The bee returned. I swung harder. dodged, swarmed, then flew frenziedly around me. I swung wildly, defending myself. Amethyst cheered, "Buzzy bee, Buzzy bee, Buzzy bee." Clearly she found the spectacle more entertaining than terrifying. Finally, there was a loud thunk. The shovel connected midair. The bee fell weakly, buzzing, struggling to stand. "Garion 1B0, I said with a grin. "I always believed you could do it," Amethyst replied. "No, you didn't. You rooted for the bee to sting me," I shot back. "Bee? Never. I'd never root for a bee over you. Unthinkable." Then Pearl came out and yelled, "What is with all the yelling out here?" She then let out a gasp that sounded unnecessarily dramatic. She had her eyes on the bee scrambling around, buzzing weakly on the floor, trying to stand up. Pearl looked at me and said, "What's the matter with you? What is it with you and being barbaric and now putting that harmless bumblebee through extreme tribulation?" Amethyst replied, "Yeah, he did kind of egg it on. It was hilarious. I was like so convinced he was going to get himself stung he hit it with a shovel." Pearl said, "He hit it with my shovel. That's unnecessarily sadistic, plus it's inhumane, plus it's not the proper use of a shovel. It's not meant to terminate bumblebees." I replied, "It's actually a carpenter bee." Pearl replied, "Do not correct me. And fix your posture." She proceeded to try to pose me. I begrudgingly let her. She then said, "Ah, that's much better." She looked at the bee still buzzing and struggling on the ground, wiggling around, trying to fly, and now give me that shovel. That's for my garden, not for bumblebee swatting. I didn't try to correct her again, it wasn't worth it. She eyed the bee on the ground. Her posture was flawless, her hands folded neatly behind her back. She tilted her head slightly, eyes narrowing as she surveyed me with that sharp, exacting gaze she always carried. "Garion," she began, voice precise and deliberate, "it is of paramount importance that you internalize the fundamental principles governing interactions with both living creatures and sentient beings. The act of willfully or even negligently causing distress to a defenseless organism, no matter how seemingly insignificant, constitutes an ethical transgression. Such behavior is incompatible with the ideals of decency, civility, and moral rectitude that we hold as standard within this institution." She took a slow step closer, voice measured, almost ceremonious. "Furthermore, in the context of interpersonal relations, one must operate under the immutable laws of respect, consent, and courtesy. To ignore these standards, even momentarily, is to undermine the trust and goodwill of those with whom you interact. This includes your peers, your superiors, and any creatures under your care or observation. Actions that contravene these precepts are, at the very least, deeply unbecoming and, at worst, detrimental to your social standing and personal integrity." Pearl paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. "In short, you are expected to exercise discernment, restraint, and empathy at all times. One does not torment the helpless for amusement. One does not overstep personal boundaries with her." I got fed up with her little lecture and said, "Are you done yet, Pearl? I could literally care less about that damn bee and your moral superiority. Take that stick out of your ass for a change, okay?" She suddenly stopped and simply said, "Excuse me. You will respect my authority, entrusted by Citrine herself. You are not the boss here. Understood?" "Yes, ma'am," I muttered. "Now, no more being barbaric to animals of any type," she added, then stomped the bee gently to end its struggle, tilting her nose up as she walked back inside. Amethyst muttered, where she was pissed. "I don't know what it is with her," I said, "and she wants me to kiss her ass so bad, I swear." I added, "Too bad the stick's in the way." "Hey, Garion, are you hungry?" Amethyst asked, eager to change the subject. "Yeah," I replied, grateful. "Lead the way, Bee Tormentor." Later, we arrived at a place called the Big Donut. She ordered eagerly, briefly introducing me to Sadie. I wasn't very interested, too passive. "You in town?" Sadie asked. "Yes," I said. "Not many new people," she replied. "Occasional tourists, but not often." The guy behind the counter looks like he wants to be anywhere else, I noted. "Oh, that's just Lars," Sadie said. When the order was ready, Amethyst took it eagerly, hogging most of the donuts but giving me two. I told her to chew less noisily. "All right, Captain Buzzkill," she muttered. "No need to be pissy, I didn't do anything." She suddenly asked, "Do you like BBLs?" I blinked. "I what? Is that a sandwich?" She laughed. "You're a strange guy, you know that?" We playfully thumped each other. Then she asked, "Want to check out how far Funland's repairs got?" "Yeah, actually, that'd be cool, plus no Pearl," I said. We walked that way when she got a call. "What do you mean?" she said. "Not now. I'm coming. Then she started dragging me along. "Wait, where are we going?" I yelled. No time to explain. We approached the temple again, and there it was, a large centipede-like creature spitting acid with an eye in its mandibles. I didn't know what to make of it. Pearl pulled a sword out of her gem. "Here, this is to defend yourself if necessary, but do not engage with it if you don't have to." I watched as the gems fought whatever creature it was. It screeched like a freaking demon. I held the sword tight. I was terrified. What the hell was that thing? Turned towards me and spit acid. I ducked and rolled on the ground, moving out of the way, it holding my sword close. It didn't look like any sword I'd ever seen. Amethyst was trying to hold it back. Garnet fought with it. The creature snapped its jaws, its eye dripping acid. It came for me. I slashed the sword at its eye with precision. It screeched again like the souls of the damned. I backed away from it, trying to create distance between me and it, and it pulled out a glowing misery god from her gem, and charged the scent bundle as I was now calling it. It knocked Onyx away. I dodged stay acid fired from its mouth. The gems were struggling to keep it under control. I thought to myself, you know, I could just flee, but then I would have been a coward, and I was sure Citrine hated cowards or deserters. I formulated a plan. I had to take this thing out somehow. Then an idea came to me. What the hell is he doing? I heard Citrine yell. I threw a rock at it. The creature roared and came for me. I ran. I was now questioning my life choices. Why did I have to throw a rock at it? So stupid. I ran towards a wall. It ran at me, closing the distance quickly. I jabbed my sword quickly between its eye and the eye socket. The creature let out a pained squeal. I jammed the sword further in and flipped it up while still embedded in the creature. Its eye popped out and flew, and suddenly the creature poofed into smoke. That was not what I was expecting at all. The creatures. I rolled to my feet. Garnet picked it up and put it in a purple bubble. Garnet studied the popped eye in the bubble, then looked at me. You baited it, she said calmly. I seemed easier than waiting to die, I admitted, breath heavy. That was impulsive and reckless, but you succeeded, Garnet added, still calm. Lieutenant Citrine looked at me. I'm surprised you had it in you. Impressed, actually. But you should have waited, as Pearl instructed. Citrine turned toward Garnet and Pearl. Come with me to the war room. We have matters to discuss alone. Amethyst grinned. Dude, that was awesome, coolest thing ever, might I add. I slumped against the wall, adrenaline fading, chest heaving. My hands shook slightly. The surge left me exhausted. I muttered under my breath, I feel like I'm about to be in serious trouble. End of episode.